Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. And if you do love a Reddit story, one day I'm going to shock you and say something else. Do consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from AwareChicken5917 from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. And it says, Am I the arsehole for suggesting that my brother and his fiancée bring out a cake at midnight on their wedding day for our grandma's 80th birthday? My older brother is getting married to his partner on July 20th, a date that they agreed on in January and shared with the family. July 21st is our grandma's 80th birthday. She comes from a line of women where none of them live past the age of 80, so it's a big deal for her. And she announced last year that she wanted to go all out with a weekend-long celebration. When my brother announced his wedding date, she was the first one to react with kindness, considering he forgot all about her 80th birthday plans when deciding upon the wedding date. They had made several down payments before announcing, so there was no point in asking them to move the wedding a week before or later for Grandma. And Grandma wouldn't allow it. She ultimately decided to have a relaxing, low-key Sunday dinner because my brother and his fiancée also want to have a post-wedding brunch that day for relatives and the bridal party. My mum and I got to talking, and we thought it'd be super fun if, at midnight, us grandkids could surprise Grandma with a cake and have the band play her favourite song so we could share a dance with her. It seemed like a fun way to include such an important milestone into the celebratory weekend, since she was giving up her big birthday bash in favour of the wedding. I called my brother immediately to share the idea with him, and he loved it. He even came up with the idea to make the cake England themed because Mum and I are taking her to England in September as our gift. It's a lifelong dream of hers to go. That is, he loved it until he didn't. Meaning he spoke with his fiancée. He called to say the cake deal for Gran was off, and at the same night I received a text from his fiancée telling me I should have checked with her first if she'd be okay with it, and how I was being insensitive, rude and selfish for meddling with her special day. Yes, her special day. Not my brother's special day or their special day. Her special day. She really seems like a good person and we get along well despite not being super close, but it seemed logical to me to contact my brother since it's also his wedding and it is his grandma, not hers. I responded back by saying it was my brother's special day as well and how he was initially thrilled by the idea. I also told her I didn't appreciate her accusing me of meddling since both my mum and I have fully respected the fact that she planned the entire wedding with her mum, leaving us out of the loop. Despite my parents paying for a portion of the wedding, my mum was bummed about being fully excluded, even though all she would have wanted was to know how everything was going. The wedding reception is scheduled to end at 2 a.m, and by midnight she'll already have been the center of attention. It's not like someone is going to jump out of a wedding cake and propose to another person. My text was met with a phone call from my brother who basically told me the conversation is over as I've overstepped my boundaries. Am I the arsehole? The top commenter said to this one, not the arsehole. Your kind, loving, 80-year-old grandma, who has already expressed how this is a historic and meaningful moment for her, is more important than your entitled sister-in-law, who would already have a full day of attention under her belt by then. Go ahead and plan for lovely festivities with your grandma and a family without sister-in-law or your brother. She outright declared war on the people financing her wedding and who are important to her husband. So all bets are off. Opie replies saying my mum is now really upset over the whole situation and she feels responsible for messing things up. I, on the other hand, am pissed off enough to blow off the wedding and throw Grandma a weekend birthday bash instead. The old lady is so sweet and kind that she would probably be stressed going back and forth as to not miss her grandson's big day or the party her granddaughter threw her. I mean, of course I won't do it, but it's fun to think about. I do admit I was originally annoyed when they announced the wedding date. So were my aunts and cousins, but my grandma was so kind about it and my mum supported her as she wanted to be there for both her son and her mum. So Grandma ended up settling for a basic Sunday dinner, knowing everyone will be tired, hungover, and worn out, instead of having a weekend-long birthday bash with all the people she loves. Commenter says to OP, "You're the arsehole. It's a nice sentiment, but it's not your party, so you don't get a say if your idea is ultimately turned down. Your brother made his choice as well. OP says, okay, I'd agree if she just turned down my idea. No, she took it a few steps further by piling on the insults and being especially insulted that I dare speak with my brother, who is the freaking groom, instead of coming to her first. We're not even that close, and she has chosen to exclude our side of the family from the wedding planning. I genuinely only know stuff about the wedding that my brother tells me, so it would be logical to speak to him. Also, meddling would be if I did it behind her back. I don't think making a suggestion warranted this reaction. I come to think she has some serious control issues. Commenter replies to OP saying, sounds like there are very good reasons for that. Yes, it's your brother's wedding, but come the fuck on. Was he really supposed to say no to you and your mum after you cooked up this idea and clearly already feel he somehow disrespected your grandma by picking this date? It seems like maybe you knew you could pressure him into it. Personally, I sure wouldn't want the last moments of my wedding to be celebrating someone else. OP replies saying he would have said no if he was against it. He was enthusiastic about the idea. For God's sake, he even came up with a cake design and said he could ask the bakery making their wedding cake if they could make it because he loved the cakes during the cake tasting. That's not the response of a pressured man. I was ready for him to say no. I was not ready for the insults and overreactions to start pouring in. Commodore says, do you think those aunts and cousins would be down to organize something for your grandma? Nothing outrageous, but something better than a lunch alone and closer to her original vision for a weekend-long party. OP says, I would have to check with them. Mum doesn't want this getting out as to not upset grandma and to not further upset the bride-to-be. The problem is that we have a lot of family and friends coming from out of state. They were originally going to come for the birthday, but now they're coming for the wedding, so I'm not sure how many of them could tweak their schedules and stay an additional day or two if we were to celebrate on Sunday and Monday, for example. Commodore says to OP, you just have a problem with her in general. You keep claiming it's your brother's wedding too, yet he's not involving you in anything either. You should have consulted both of them since you said it yourself, it was both of their days. OP says he is involving us by telling us how planning is going, because that's apparently all he's allowed to do. He told Mum the name of the venue, the band and the chapel so she could Google what it looks like, because that's how little involvement we have due to the bride's decision. And I know I posted here. I know I'm not being objective with how upset I am, but when I genuinely, from the bottom of my fucking heart tell you, my parents and I are not overbearing people. She low-key tried to exclude us. We abided by it, and I really didn't think a suggestion involving our grandma would result in this. I do have a problem with her. I have a problem with the way she excluded my mum, who paid $15,000 for the portion of the wedding. I have a problem with the way this wedding is her way or no way. I have a problem with the way my brother magically went from being enthusiastic and excited about surprising grandma to suddenly being against it. That's not compromise. If it really were their day instead of her day, there would be a compromise, or at the very least, there would have been a simple, hey OP, the cake thing doesn't really work for me and my vision. Take care, see you in a few weeks, instead of resorting to insulting me and my mother. To a deleted comment about how long it would take, OP says, who the fuck mentioned 2 hours? One song and the 5 seconds it takes to blow out a birthday candle. Someone says you're the arsehole because you acted like it was your brother's final decision. OP says, but I didn't act as if his agreement was the final decision. It was expected that he would run it past her. She said no. He called and said the cake thing was off. Fine. I wasn't too happy about it, but I kept it to myself. I didn't argue it. She then proceeded to text me and insult me. That I did argue. I didn't intentionally speak only to him. Should I have sent him a joint email in that moment as I'm casually talking to my mum and thinking about a silly cake thing for my grandma? It was supposed to be a casual phone call to my brother. The last time I texted her / spoke to her was March. She usually ghosts me or replies with zero interest. My brother is also my friend. It made sense to reach out to him because we actually talk and is our grandma. And there was a bunch of comments saying that OP pushed too hard, and OP said, I didn't pursue it after the phone call. When he said it wasn't happening, I didn't push back. She then texts me insulting me, and if I responded defending myself. It's like everyone is missing the fact that her saying no wouldn't be a big deal if it weren't for the massive text that night where she insults both me and my mum. I don't think my post made it very clear that I did drop it after his phone call. He called and said the deal was off. I didn't argue with him, even though I wasn't thrilled. She then proceeded to text me, and I sure as hell wasn't going to let that go, but the way she started insulting me and overreacted. My original post exceeded the character limit, so I'm not sure if I did a good job summarizing that part, but after he called me to tell me the deal was off, I didn't argue back. One more commenter who says to OP, you brought up multiple times with detail about how she excluded you from the planning and only planned with her mum. It really seems like you're very pressed about the fact you were not involved in the planning. And I'm confused by that because first, it's not your wedding, and second, it sounds like your parents contributed money, not you. OP says, I only stress that because of the nature of her text and because people are attacking me for not coming to her first or exclusively to her. Even when I would try to show some interest for the wedding, to try and be closer to her and to show interest, she would shut me down. That's why I kept repeating it like a parrot. I don't mind that she didn't include me. I do mind that she didn't include my mum at all. We didn't go behind her back with a sleazy idea. We fully expected it to be communicated to her as it was, and she shut it down. It could have ended with that had she not proceeded with the text. And there was a ton of back and forth, as you're probably getting through them comments as well. Lots of not the arseholes, lots of you're the arseholes, a couple of everyone sucks here. But it was around 2 months later that OP came back into the post and said, the wedding is off. After the conflict between me and my brother's former fiance, which resulted in a phone call from my brother, I decided to text her 3 days later to apologize. Even though my family and the internet sided with me, I just didn't want any bad mojo or to be a sister-in-law from hell. My text was met with a lot of anger on my dad's behalf, which really surprised me because the man supports me no matter what. He was telling me how I shouldn't have been the one to apologize, and he let another thing slip out. End of February, the bride's dad asked my dad, in confidence, if he could pitch in additional money for his daughter's dream wedding because he didn't think it was fair he had to pay more due to tradition. My mum didn't know about this, which prompted fight number 1. My dad was pissed that I was the one to apologize even though I was the one that was insulted. So he called my brother behind our backs and told him that he respects the fact that she will be his wife in his primary family, but how he also thinks he should have checked her for insulting me the same way he checked me for crossing a boundary. He then did what dads sometimes do best, go off with a monologue after keeping shit inside for months. He told him about the additional money that he gave, and he told him that he wasn't convinced the overlapping events were a coincidence. Fight number 2 ensued. My brother called our mum the next day to tell her the wedding was off. All hell broke loose. We then couldn't get in touch with my brother or his fiancée for almost a week. My mum then got a hold of my work email and emailed me saying I had ruined her daughter's life. I forwarded the email to my brother and he finally called me back. He said it felt like she wanted to marry for the wedding, not for the marriage. She also admitted to making her dad ask our dad for more money so he could afford a wedding flower package she wanted that was an additional $7,000. And she saw nothing wrong with keeping it a secret from my brother. She also refused to at least acknowledge my apology and to apologize back to me. My brother told her he would like to postpone the wedding and work on their issues, and she ended up calling off the wedding and breaking up with him. My relationship with my brother is still a wreck. He said he needs time because he loves her, but he understands she didn't prioritize him as much as he did her. Grandma's birthday bash is back on, and we're happy for her. She's excited as heck after the initial turmoil. I miss my brother so much, and it sucks knowing how heartbroken he is. But at least he's talking to my parents, and he has the rest of the family as a support system. I really hope we can rebuild our relationship someday. I'm glad he won't marry the wrong person for the wrong reasons, but it's awful being the trigger to his life falling apart, and I regret everything. After this, of course, the comments were flooding in. The first one said, to the degree that you caused this chain of events, and honestly, if you didn't ask about the cake, someone else would have done something that the bride considered meddling, so I don't think you did. It's a favor to your brother in the long run. Super painful and embarrassing to call off a wedding, but divorce is worse. He got to see something he needed to see. I hope he comes to see that soon, and I hope you know you did nothing you need to regret. OP says, I haven't considered this perspective that eventually someone or something else would have probably set off a similar, if not worse, chain of events. It just really sucks being that person in this entire situation. The pain he's feeling is what's making me regretful, not the called off wedding per se. I don't think his former fiancée is a bad to the bone type of person. She just doesn't seem to be the person for him. At least not now. I also think that the wedding planning and wanting to keep up with the Joneses got to her and further exasperated some of her character flaws. So I'm really hoping she can also heal from all of this. Commodore says, ultimately it sounds like this is for the best and your brother dodged a bullet. Hopefully you two can repair your relationship. Opie says thank you. I'll be seeing him for the first time during Grandma's birthday weekend and I'm equally terrified and looking forward to it. I'm hoping we can sit down and talk, but if not, I won't pressure him. I know our family will do everything to try and cheer him up and be a solid support system. Commodore says, I don't know your brother or you, so take this for what it's worth. Maybe talk about anything but this. Whose wedding just got called off mere weeks before it was set to happen? He's probably hurt and embarrassed. So go talk about baseball or whatever. Something innocuous. Opie says that makes sense. The wedding was called off mid-May, a few days after I had originally posted, but the two of us haven't spoken aside from that one phone call. I do text him periodically just to check up on him. He hasn't replied to my text, but he's talking and FaceTiming with our parents and grandparents as well as some cousins, so I know he's okay and slowly doing better. I would like to apologize to him face to face, but I like the idea of keeping things light-hearted if possible, so we can feel more relaxed and hopefully have some much needed fun. Commodore says, yikes on all the bikes. Be there for your bro when he's ready to talk. He already seems to understand the wedding was happening for all the wrong reasons as far as his ex was concerned. Opie says, will do. I agree. Our parents did try to persuade him to talk to me, which I did not approve of. He needs time and the least I can do for him now is give him all the time and space required for him to recover from this. Someone says, what about the money Dad gave former fiance's dad for the extravagant flowers? Did he get a refund? Opie says my parents originally gave a mutual agreed upon sum of money. I think it was $15,000, followed by another $7,000 from my dad. After the wedding was called off, my brother and his ex weren't able to get refunded for a lot of things because they signed contracts which often states deposits are non-refundable or only partially refundable. Some have a cancellation policy, but it has to be at least 90 days before the wedding was set to be. Theirs wasn't. As far as my dad is concerned, he parted ways with that money the moment he signed those checks. However, he did tell me my brother insists on paying him back. Dad is against it and he plans on re-gifting him that money once he decides to purchase a home. Commodore says, why did your father and your brother's ex keep it from him that your father was pitching in more than your brother knew? But I think your brother's right. A lot of people confuse a wedding with marriage. Opie says my dad is an old school kind of guy. He kept it to himself because it was his understanding that neither his son or his son's fiance knew about it. He was helping her dad out with a cost. Her dad reached out to him in confidence. And the last commenter says, OP, you did nothing wrong. You asked a question, were told no. Someone was offended wrongfully and then you tried to apologize, again for no reason. I think you've been extremely kind considering. Your brother's blame is misplaced and you shouldn't be taking the burden. To which OP says, I think he's also projecting some of the blames he's feeling onto me. He told our parents he feels guilty for forgetting about Grandma's birthday in the first place, and he swears that he didn't pick that wedding date on purpose. Though he can't vouch for his ex because she suggested a date to him. I also know how critical he can be of himself, and surely navigating this situation isn't easy for him. I feel guilty because he probably wouldn't be going through this shit show if it weren't for me. But then again, I'd also he'd deal with this shit show now rather than in the future, which would undoubtedly be more complicated. Holy moly, what an absolute train wreck. And I certainly agree with those comments saying, it's better to call it off now than a divorce in the future. And I really hope for their family's sake that brother does reach out to OP soon and they start to rekindle their relationship and start to build that back up. But hey, another silver lining to this is Grandma's birthday party is back on. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below and let's have another story. Now, our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. It doesn't have an update at the moment. It's from TeeBrownie, who says, Am I the Arsehole here for kicking my house guests out 11 hours before their flight is scheduled to leave? My friend and his wife have made plans to visit us this summer for a weekend stay. The flight is 2 hours, so not a really long journey for them. We have our home professionally cleaned regularly and go all in to be good hosts to our guests. However, with any good thing, Some people try to take advantage. I usually will take an extra day from work after guests leave to get rest or even tidy up the house a bit. It's just a peaceful time for me to return to the normalcy of our household after being in host mode. Before my friend booked his flight, my husband let it slip that I will not be working the Monday after my friends stay with us. Next thing I know, my friend tells me that they'll be flying out on a red-eye the Monday I took off for rest. This means they will arrive early Friday morning and leave late Monday night. To that I responded that I will be taking them to the airport as early as 8 AM Monday morning so I can have my day of rest like I planned. My friend tells me that he doesn't understand why they can't just hang out at our place or have us show them around town more on that Monday since they have a late flight. I explained to them that the day off is for me to rest, not to continue to be their host. I told them that they're more than welcome to leave their luggage here if they want to go and explore on their own, but we will not be hosting them or playing tour guide after Monday morning. He goes on to admit that it was cheaper for him to book the later flight on Monday, and that it's not a big deal for him and his wife to just hang out at my house all day until it's time for them to fly out. Keep in mind that I will have to take them to the airport or pay for rideshare because he refuses to pay. I will also have to feed them. I told him that they're welcome to visit and stay with us, but staying at our house all day Monday is not an option, and he needs to make other arrangements. He's now accusing me of being a horrible friend, and his wife says we're arseholes. Your thoughts? OKC says, everyone sucks here. Your friends are not being unreasonable by asking you to spend Monday with them or just let them hang out, but they are being unreasonable by not taking no for an answer. But you sound like the least gracious host in town. Like, why have these people visit if the thought of spending 12 extra hours with them causes you such trauma? Using the term loosely, of course. It shouldn't be traumatic, but you're making it so. You sound exhausting. Quick says, this is so weird. Your friends are weird because they decided to stay an extra day instead of asking if they could stay an extra day. You're weird for making such a big deal out of kicking them out of the house. Why can't you just tell them that you have other plans and it's not convenient instead of climbing on a hill to die on? Everyone sucks here. Working Routine says, I'm confused. Are these your actual friends? Because if they are, why wouldn't you want to spend as much time with them as possible considering they live a flight away? Do you really need a full day of rest to recover from a few days with them? I agree they should not have assumed they could stay Monday or that you'd drive them. However, as a friend, I'm glad that they could save money and to see them longer. Maybe compromise and take them to the airport early afternoon, or just let them hang at your house on Monday but don't entertain them. This sounds like a strange friendship. Protecto says, not the arsehole. Your friends are overstaying their welcome and treating you like a hotel and tour guide when you've been more than gracious host by paying for food and transportation on top of having them stay at your house. Abuse of friendship. And one more comment which says, I'm guessing most of the commenters here are extroverts or on the younger side. You hit a certain age, work is draining, friends you love are draining, all kinds of things that are objectively nice are draining. The way to make it all function is to build in periods of rest and recovery so as to be able to do things well in every area, and to set limits to the draining activities, no matter how wonderful they are. OP has probably learned this over the years the hard way. They know that if you have to go from hosting mode to work the next day, they will effectively not have had a weekend. They'll be sleepwalking through work all week. No chance of enjoying the following weekend either, as it will be crash and recovery. Sorry, OP is not the arsehole here. Grown adults need to be considerate guests and be thoughtful about not overstaying their welcome. They ask clear questions about whether and how long it is okay for them to stay over, and when they're over they make an effort to be as little burden as possible. And it's one of those posts that is a very rare one that looks like it's going to be an overall everyone sucks here. There is not the arseholes, there is you're the arseholes, but the majority of them that I'm seeing, especially in the top comments, are everyone sucks here. I mean, but just as I'm saying that, I was scrolling down the post at the same time, and I saw a comment from the OP that says, someone was asking, do you ever visit them? And OP said, we visit them as well, every once in a while. We stay in a hotel and pay for when we all dine together. They've come to our hotel and spent the day with us and then expect us to pick up the tab at the pool bar. We got to the point where we told him that the bill would be separate for that, so they snuck in their own alcohol last time. We typically let them know what else we have planned in case they want to pay for their own tickets and join us. They never join us. Which after reading that and like combined with some of the other stuff before, it started tipping it into like, you know, mooching territory for me. But what about you guys? What do you think of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Wake up, get up, stretch my legs, eat some breakfast, milk and eggs, brush my teeth up, wash my face, throw my clothes on, start my day. Wake up, I can smell the smoke from the bacon. Let's go,